Von Miller agrees to 6-year, $114.5 million contract with Broncos. Denver Broncos outside linebacker Von Miller is now the NFL's highest-paid defensive player thanks to a 6-year, $114.5 million contract that includes nearly $70 million in guarantees. The Super Bowl MVP signed Friday afternoon, shortly before the deadline for long-term deals for franchise-tagged players. A person familiar with the contract, speaking on condition of anonymity because terms of the deal had not been announced, told USA Today Sports of the financial details. The Super Bowl 50 MVP and the Broncos had been engaged in often contentious contract negotiations over the past several months. Ever since the team placed the franchise tag, which came with a one-year salary of $14.129 million on Miller in March. That salary was well below market value for a player of Miller's caliber. After he racked up 60 sacks in his first 5 seasons, his value skyrocketed after a stellar 2015 postseason in which he recorded 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles and an interception during Denver's Super Bowl run. The negotiations turned nasty in June after news of the Broncos' overall offer of 6 years and $114 million. But with less than $40 million in guarantees leaked to the media, that tactic upset the normally upbeat Miller, who went on to first-crop Broncos general manager John Elway out of a picture from the team's trip to the White House and then say he would not play the season under the franchise tag. Plenty of players in the past have threatened to sit out, but Miller was in a rare position to actually use that tactic as true bargaining leverage. Because the Broncos used the exclusive franchise tag on Miller, if he chose not to play in 2016, the team could not use the exclusive tag again next year, which would allow other teams to offer Miller a free agent contract next spring and only have to give up a first and third round pick if the Broncos failed to match. Recent massive free agent deals to players like defensive end Olivier Vernon, with an average salary of $17 million from the New York Giants, or defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, $17.1 million per year, from the Philadelphia Eagles, with more than $63 million in guarantees, only drove up Miller's price tag, and Miller experienced a massive boost in off-field fame this offseason, appearing on Dancing with the Stars and jet-setting around the country for appearances at award shows and commercial shoots while he was away from his team. But the Broncos sweetened their offer late last week by dramatically increasing the guaranteed money available to Miller in the first 3 years of the deal, though it took some haggling over language and structure on Friday afternoon before the deal was signed. Any hurt feelings sustained in the negotiation process should be history. Now Miller can shift his focus back to football, with 12 days left until players report for training camp. Having Miller happy and back under contract is huge for a Denver team that won the Super Bowl last year on the back of the league's best defense and will likely need a similar defensive effort to win again in 2016 as the team faces uncertainty at quarterback. Miller is not just one of the league's best pure pass rushers, but he also is one of the NFL's most unique and dynamic defensive players, with the ability to also drop in pass coverage. See his interception of New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady while covering tight end Rob Gronkowski in the AFC Championship game. Play run defense and even spy a mobile quarterback, as he did at times early in the Super Bowl against NFL MVP Cam Newton. He's also one of the most popular players on the Broncos roster because of his boisterous personality, and his absence was noticeable during the spring as he boycotted off-season workouts. Had the Broncos and Miller failed to get a new deal done by Friday, and if that were to have led Miller to hold out from training camp and into the regular season, it could have had major ramifications within the locker room. Super Bowl MVP Miller inks record-breaking deal that's almost double the guaranteed money the Broncos were offering him in June. Miller received $23 million at signing and will earn $61 million over the first 8 months of the blockbuster deal that makes him the highest-paid player outside of quarterbacks in NFL history. Miller thanked team owner Pat Bowlen, president and CEO Joe Ellis, general manager John Elway and coach Gary Kubiak for making this possible. "I'm also thankful for the way my teammates and our fans have supported me," Miller said in a statement. "I'm excited for the future and ready to get back to work." Miller and agent Joe Branyan parlayed patience into a record-breaking deal in terms of overall value and guarantees. Last month, Miller's camp rejected the $38.5 million the Broncos offered in guarantees, and Miller threatened to sit out the season barring a long-term deal. Elway bolstered the offer over the last week, and now the man who almost single-handedly destroyed Carolina's championship dreams will lead Denver's title defense that begins Sept. 8 against those Panthers. "I'm happy that both sides were able to broker a deal that works for both sides," Branyan said. "That's the mark of a good negotiation. The Broncos are happy to have Vaughn back, and Vaughn's happy to be back." Miller was in Utah on Friday for an appearance with Whitney Carson, his partner on Dancing with the Stars, and Elway was overseas. "Congrats at Miller Lite 40. Excited for what the future holds for you and our team," Elway tweeted. "Proud of everyone for getting it done." The cornerstone of the league's best defense accepted the Broncos' blockbuster offer 2 hours before Friday's deadline, tweeting a photo of himself in his orange No. 58 jersey with the caption, "For life." Both the overall value of the deal and the guaranteed money are records for non-quarterbacks. The only player with more guaranteed money is Colts quarterback Andrew Luck, the league's highest-paid player. The 6-year, $140 million contract Luck signed last month includes $75 million fully guaranteed. The next few years will determine whether Miller's deal is a win-win in Denver. But it's already a huge victory for the versatile outside linebacker who has 60 career sacks in 5 seasons. This contract checks off all the boxes for Miller, the biggest overall deal for a non-QB in league history. Most guaranteed money for an NFL defensive player, and a benchmark contract that raises the bar for the next superstar. In June, Miller's camp agreed to the parameters of the Broncos' 6-year offer that slightly exceeded the $114.375 million Miami's Ndamukong Suh received in 2015 in becoming the league's highest-paid defender. But they asked for millions more in guarantees. Fletcher Cox quickly established a new floor for Miller with his $63.3 million in guarantees, and Luck's deal raised the ceiling for Miller, the star of Super Bowl 50. After Elway put his exclusive franchise tag on him, Miller skipped the Broncos' off-season program, joining his teammates only for their White House visit and ring ceremony. But Miller stayed in tip-top shape, in part by doing all that dancing on ABC's primetime hit show. Miller, the second overall pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, has 60 career sacks and has bounced back from a 2013 season that was derailed by a suspension and a knee injury that sidelined him for the Broncos' Super Bowl loss to Seattle. Miller predicted peaceful contract negotiations 12 hours after spearheading Denver's 24-10 win over Carolina in this year's Super Bowl. But things got thorny last month after details of Denver's June 7 offer became public. Miller cropped Elway from a photo on his Instagram account and then said there was no way he'd play this season on the franchise tag. The two of them patched up their differences as talks reignited, and the man Elway has called the best player he's ever seen will be back in uniform when the Broncos report to training camp.